Hello boys and girls. Today we are going to begin a new writing unit. You've just finished up writing your nonfiction books with Mr. Talmadge about animals and their adaptations and how they survive. And this is going to be our final writing unit for 3rd grade, which is going to be on personal essays, or it's also called opinion writing. But for the most part, I'm going to be calling them essays or personal essays. Personal essays are very, very different than personal narratives. If you remember doing your personal narratives back in the fall, just a reminder of what personal narratives are. We've got some examples right over here that remind you of what they are. First of all, we talked about those personal narratives having a small seed moment. If you recall, they were always written in order, in sequence. They had a main character, and of course, because it was a personal narrative, the main character was you. We develop your character throughout. We end with a resolution to the problem, and we write it so that our readers kind of feel like they were right there. We give them the details, about as much detail as we can about that small seed moment itself. A personal essay, on the other hand, is not necessarily about something you've experienced, but it's about a big idea that you have, or a big opinion that you have about something. For example, I think ice cream is the best food that's ever existed. So that would be an example of a big idea, and you take that big idea, that opinion, and you develop it across the whole text. What that means is you are not only going to write your opinion or your idea, your big idea, you're going to give reasons why you feel you are correct. So you're going to support that idea with reasons why. And every reason you have is going to return to that big idea. So as you write, you would say, this is another reason why my idea is correct. This is another reason why ice cream is the best food ever. This is another reason why everyone should eat ice cream. So you always return to your big idea. And you write it so that you really make the reader think. You really truly want to convince your reader that your opinion is the right opinion. All right, so when you are taking a look at a personal essay, in order to figure out, what is your big idea, a good question to ask yourself is right down here, what is the lesson I want the reader to learn? So I want to take a look at two. We're going to take a look at 2 short stories, and we're going to see if we can figure out together what is the lesson that they want us, the reader, to learn. So right here we are reading a story called The Day I Figured Out That No One is Perfect. I want you to pause the video right now, and I want you to take a moment to read this story. It should only take you a few minutes, and when you're all done reading the story, you can start playing the video again, and we'll find out what we're going to do next. So now that you've read the story, the question is, what is the lesson that this author wants the reader to learn? And I'm pretty sure we can all agree that it's found in this final paragraph down here. That day, I figured out that even if someone looks perfect, there's a good possibility that they aren't. It's how someone treats you that is more important than how they look. We can tell that this is the lesson the author wants us to learn because of the evidence that's throughout the whole paper. For example, there was a girl in my class that I thought was beautiful and smart. All right? And then later on it says, thinking about how happy she would be to receive my gift made me so excited. But then all of a sudden there's evidence here where she calls her a dork. And she realizes that as beautiful as she is on the outside, she's not very pretty on the inside. And that's how she learned. It's how someone treats you that is more important than how they look. So that's our big idea. And throughout the whole story, we have evidence that supports that lesson. Let's try practicing this again with a story called The Seed. In the story The Seed, you are going to once again be reading and looking for what is the lesson that I am supposed to learn. Ask yourself that question as you are reading The Seed. And also ask yourself, how do I know that? That second part is just as important as the first, friends. You have to be able to prove what it is you think the big idea is from this story. You will notice that The Seed is in Schoology. It's on 2 different pages, so because it was too big to put into one picture. I want you to read both pages. If you want to be able to underline or highlight parts of it, feel free to open it in Notability, and you can underline using that. And then after you have read The Seed and you've asked yourself, you think you've found the big idea, the lesson you're supposed to learn, you have evidence to support that, then I want you to go into the Seed discussion assignment, which is on Schoology. If you have questions with that, you can see me at any time, see your teacher, and we can clarify that for you. And once you have completed the Seed discussion, you are done with today's lesson. So good luck, and remember, if you need help, ask your teacher. We're here for you, and I hope that you really get a good idea of these big ideas so that you can start to think about writing one for yourself.